Why immigration doesn't work. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, bringing you the obvious. And today, we're going to talk about why immigration doesn't work. You see, the world we live in is a finite place. It has finite resources. It is not an infinite Earth. It is one small planet floating in space. There's only so much land to go around. There's only so much space to go around. There's only room for so many people. And this is the primary reason. Scarcity, the limit of resources that we have available to us, is why immigration just does not work. So here on the jpost.com, we have this article, and in conjunction with some proof, I am going to explain why it just doesn't work. More than half of Arab world's young adults want to leave. In other words, more than half of Arab people want to leave their own countries to come to first world countries to take their benefits, to leech off society, and essentially to colonize Europe and the modern world. Lack of trust in Islamist governments, spike in non-religious identity are among the chief reasons, report finds. By Julia Altman, The Media Line. But before we begin, one of my affiliates has given me new material to work with. This is called the Amendment. It's a magnetic security device for your MacBook. Now this is what the device looks in action. See, very simple. It simply sticks to the magnetic strips within the MacBook itself. Now the version I prefer is the NyanCat version. If you're interested, check out the affiliate link in the description. So, let's check this out. The results of a recent survey in the Arab world show that more than half of the region's young adults, that is an insane amount of people, are considering immigrating, and an increasing number of people are identifying as non-religious. Well, that's a good sign. The biggest danger of Arab migration to Europe is them bringing their religion with them, the culture with them, because it is not compatible with Western society. They don't have equal rights. They don't have tolerant cultures, and it's kind of a cult-like mentality, like, we're gonna go everywhere, and we're gonna spread, and we're gonna breed, and we're gonna take over. And anyone who gets in our way, well, oh Bucky, oh boy. So it's a really dangerous game. The big BBC News Arabic survey, a joint assessment by BBC News Arabic and Arab Barometer, a Princeton University-based nonpartisan research network, is the largest in-depth survey ever carried out in the region. Over 25,000 people in 10 countries and the Palestinian territories participated in face-to-face interviews for the study between October 2018 and April 2019. 52% of the respondents aged 18 to 29 said they were considering immigrating to another country. How about you stay instead? The survey indicates that 70% of young Moroccans are thinking about leaving their country, and almost half of the population in Sudan, Jordan, and Morocco, and a third of Iraqis are considering immigrating. Ah, yes. Because rather than educating yourself and working hard to improve your own nation, you would rather be a coward, running away to suck up the resources of some other nation. Let me ask you this, folks. If these people weren't willing to improve their own communities, why would they be willing to work hard and contribute in the countries they're going to? I think that's the reason you see the parasitic behavior of many refugees and many migrants who just go for free stuff to the detriment of the local populace. I find it sickening. The number itself is alarming and has several components. Dr. Mohamed Masbah, director of Moroccan Institute of Policy Analysis in Rabat, told the Media Line. Politically, there is a lack of confidence in the government, as youth believe the government cannot solve their problems. Masbah said, socioeconomically, youth unemployment is high. The belief is it will get worse. So, all these people want to come to our countries and take everything we have. That's simply how it is. And there's a great video I'm going to show you. Some of my patrons have already seen this video, but it's a good video nonetheless. It's called World Poverty, Immigration, and Gumballs, presented by Roy Beck, and the explanation is very simple and easy to understand. So to all the brainlets, don't worry, it'll make perfect sense.
Some people say that mass immigration into the United States can help reduce world poverty. Is that true? Well, no, it's not. And let me show you why. This gumball represents the 1 million legal immigrants that the United States has taken every year on average since 1990. Now, who in the world deserves our humanitarian compassion?
No one.
The World Bank has one measure of the desperately poor of the world. They make less than $2 a day. We'll start with Africa. In Africa alone, there are 650 million people. who make less than $2 a day, 650 million. And in India, another 890 million people, desperately poor. China adds another 480 million people, making less than $2 a day. And unfortunately, the rest of Asia has a heartbreaking 810 million people who the World Bank says make less than $2 a day. And finally, there's 105 million of Latin America's population that are desperately poor. All told, the World Bank says there are 3 billion people in the world. 3 billion people who are desperately poor, making less than $2 a day. That's 3,000 gumballs. And every year, we take 1 million and suggest that we've somehow made a humanitarian difference. And the World Bank tells us that that number is these 3 billion plus another 2.6 billion people. 5.6 billion people in the world who live in countries with average incomes below that of Mexico. That's 5,600 gumballs. And so what is it that the elites are telling us? They're telling us that when we take this 1 million immigrants, that we somehow or another are tackling world poverty. And we have to do it regardless of the effect on our unemployed, the working poor, the most vulnerable members of our society, regardless.
Preach it, man. Preach it.
Of the effect on our natural resources. Even if we went by the most radical proposals in Washington, which are to actually double our immigration to 2 million a year, which would totally overwhelm our physical, natural, and social infrastructures, we couldn't make a noticeable difference. And we may be really hurting the impoverished people of the world because the million that we do take are among the most energetic, often the better educated, certainly the most dissatisfied people that if they did not immigrate would be the agents for change to improve the lot of all the people in these countries. The true heroes in the global humanitarian field are the people in these countries who have the wherewithal to immigrate to another country, but instead stay in their countries to apply their skills to help their fellow countrymen.
And that's exactly what I was saying. Absolutely, stupendously agree. Anyone who runs away from their country is a coward. What you should do is work hard and improve your own nation. Help your fellow countrymen. You really think that a traitor is going to be a good member, a new member to your society? I don't think so.
Our immigration system tends to entice these very type of people to abandon their countrymen. The impossibility of making even a dent is actually worse than it looks here. Because last year, when we took 1 million immigrants, these countries added, births over deaths, 80 million more people into the impoverished population. And this year, Congress is bringing in 1 million legal immigrants. And this year, according to the United Nations, these countries are expected to add another 80 million people. And next year, you can be quite sure that Congress, unless stopped by the American voters, will bring in another 1 million immigrants. And these countries, unfortunately, will be adding another 80 million people into these impoverished nations. We could take 5 million a year, but we'd never get ahead of what's happening in these countries. Not in this century. Don't you see? Immigration can never be an effective or significant way to deal with the suffering people of the world.
So as you can see, this is an extremely important video, now more than ever. It tells the complete and utter truth about immigration. It is not able to work. You saw all the gumballs overflowing. When Democrats say open borders, and this is America, okay, they're saying open borders, oh, everyone's gonna come here now. Just dump all the gumballs. It's gonna overflow. The glass will crack. The cup will break. It is not sustainable. It cannot be contained. And these people keep breeding. They keep breeding. It's their own faults. It's their own countries. They need to fix and bloom where they are. This is a huge red pill, honestly. This is a video that you can show to any liberal, any leftist, any Democrat, any hippie. They're worried about open borders and we should let them immigrate and everyone should come here. And it'll just be gumballs gumballs and candy and ice cream and rainbows every single day. Woo! Woo! That's not how it works. Unless you're 3 years old, it is simply inconceivable. However, the desire to immigrate has not increased universally across the region. Since 2013, it has decreased in Palestinian territories, Algeria, Sudan, Yemen, and most substantially in Lebanon. Abdul Wahab Kayalai, a researcher associate at Arab Barometer, explained to the media line in an email that the yearning to immigrate in Lebanon might have decreased for several reasons. Some estimates put the number of people in Lebanese diaspora at 15 million to 20 million people compared to the 5 million Lebanese in Lebanon, he noted. I have absolutely no idea what that means. Many Lebanese are already immigrants, and many of those who want to immigrate have already done so, he explained. In addition, he said the Lebanese people might perceive an improvement in regional security. Damn, son. When so many people leave the country that the economy loses enough people to actually improve. Economic factors were cited in the survey as the predominant reason for immigration. Oh, I bet it does. You want all that free stuff that doesn't belong to you. Conflict and instability have recently plagued Yemen, Sudan, Algeria, Libya, and the Palestinian territories have increased the rate of economic deterioration. Sounds like a personal problem. So it goes on to explain some of the things that have been happening. Political unrest in Algeria, resignation of presidents and corrupt officials and businessmen. In Sudan, there's been an economic crisis. The price of bread has skyrocketed. Increasing pressure, yada yada. Ongoing 4-year civil war in Yemen. So as you can see, these places are, they're going through stuff. So what? That doesn't mean that they should automatically get to leave and just live wherever they want. In addition to a growing desire to immigrate due to economic conditions, an increasing number of people are turning their backs on religion. The proportions of adults who describe themselves as not religious rose from 8% in 2012 to 13% in 2019. That's still way too low in my opinion. It would be one thing if these people wanted to come to Western countries and convert to Western culture, but unfortunately far too many of them want to convert the West to their culture. The survey also found that there's been a general decline in trust in religious leaders, with the steepest drop in Morocco. According to the Morocco's Institute MASPA, education has also played a crucial role. Youth are divergent with religious authority because more people are educated. I wouldn't say they have become non-religious, but they have become more critical of traditional religious authority, he told the media line. The mass survey also found that in almost all of the places surveyed, a majority of people believe that a woman can serve as head of government in a Muslim country. I mean, she can, but what will the consequences be? Additionally, at least 60% of respondents in 8 of the 11 local surveys said violence against the United States was a logical consequence of interference with the region. Don't let them in. Don't let any of them in. None of them. Not a single person. Send them all back, too. Nobody from a culture where 60% of the people think that violence against the United States is justified deserves to live in the West. That is my country. You're threatening my country. The #1 country on earth. This is why, it just doesn't work. Forget about the culture. Forget about the danger. Forget about all that other stuff. Even if you do so, immigration just does not work, period. Just like with the Gumballs. But that's merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about more than half of the Arabs' young adults wanting to leave? What do you think about the fact that 60% of the Arab population said that violence against the United States was justified? Be sure to let me know. Now, as always, you can support me on Patreon or Subscribestar for as low as $1. There are different tiers, and you can pick whatever you wish. Doing so will get you access to Fight Club, a private Discord server. There is also PayPal options. Lastly, sharing the video on social media is very important because these websites are no longer recommending red-pilled content. It is being suppressed, so sharing videos is always very helpful. As always, thanks for watching. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'll see you all next time.